morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being punctual to this class. Um, as far as you know, some of your classmates have an evaluation today. You have different evaluation dates according to your room. But I just want to tell you that you don't have to worry just to be in here and have an evaluation because the platform quiz is available 24 hours. So if you don't have the chance to do it in the moment that you have class, you can look for on a space, on a spot in during your day, and you can perfectly take this quiz on the platform who's gonna take you just a few minutes of your time. Is a very, very short and easy quiz that you're taking this term. Is so different from the one that you had the last term. So I have said this. Now let's move to today's class. I'm gonna show you the content that I have prepared for this session of class. So there it is. On your spotlights on literature, you have to look up for page 46. So I recommend you to have your books closed and open it to page 46. The topic for today is adverbs. We're gonna study some adverbs in today's lesson. But before that, I want you to reflect on today's value. I mean, this is the value that we are gonna be discussing with your teachers during the whole week. And is the value the most, well, one of the most important values in society. It is respect. So you just can't picture your life. You can't picture how convivence will be without respect. Well, Salvadorian people in general, they're not so respectful, and that's why we live in a very chaotic society where nobody respects other people's rights. But so you are learning how to be different because you want to make difference in society. So Hossein Mishan, I guess this is the way that you pronounce that name. He said that treat people the way you want to be treated. Talk to people the way you want to be talked to. Respect is earned, is not given. So I will read it again, and then I will listen to 2 or 3 opinions about this quotation. Is Hussein Nishan, I guess. Well, treat people the way you wanted to be treated. Talk to people the way you want to be talked to. Respect is earned, not given. All right, I invite you to unmute your microphone so you can say something about it. Or if you don't really want to say something specifically about this quotation, but maybe you can give your POV related to respect. Anybody voluntarily want to say something? Or we're gonna play the same routine. I ask you not respond routine that we played in every class. I ask you no responding routine. This is the way I call it. I couldn't see if Dariela is in the class. Waiting for confirmation because I didn't see her. Maybe.
Teacher, I want to participate, but I don't know if you can hear the
I can hear you perfectly.
background. Like, you can
no,
hear
no.
me.
I can hear you and no background sounds.
Okay. Okay. And so the reflection says, you already read it, but we need to treat the people with kindness, being always respectful. And if I want to be treated well, I don't have to treat people disrespectfully. I don't know if that is correct to be said, but that's all. I just want to participate.
All right, thank you, Tati. Tell me, do you consider yourself a respectful girl? Because I know you are, but I don't know. I don't know
Thank you.
what is your perspective about yourself.
I try my best.
Okay.
I try my best. I always try to be kind and respectful to the others because that's what we deserve.
Yeah,
But I
totally
try.
agree. Totally agree with you. And I consider you a very respectful young lady. Let me see anybody else.
Me, teacher.
Sergio.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
For me, not everyone can like us, but at the least we can be empathic and not bad with the others and try to be them badly. I don't know. I I express
No,
good.
no, no. I agree with you. I agree with you. So you don't have to expect to be liked by people. I mean, and you're not obliged to like others because this is not the way that the ball bounces. This is not the way life is. So you can't be liked and you can like everybody, but you can respect them. I mean, don't be rude. I mean, don't use those disrespectful tone of voice because sometimes you said, no, but I respect them because I have never insulted her. I have never insulted him on his face. But since you are changing the tone of your voice, you're being sarcastic, ironic to someone, somehow you are being disrespectful. And there are different ways to behave badly in here. But I think that what you said, Sergio, is so important. It's vital. It's not that I have to like everybody. It's just that you have to treat them the way that you would like to be treated. And I think, and I assume by my logical thinking that nobody likes to be treated badly here in this class. So I like that people treat me nice. And this is a problem in society. People like to be treated nicely, but the way they act towards others it's so bad. I mean, it's so terrible, and it's a huge paradox. You like respect, but you don't like to give it. One more, so we can move on to the content. One more. We have time. We have 60 minutes in this class. Well, actually, no, 45 minutes, but anyway. Maybe Paola Deras. Paola Deras, is your microphone working? Do you have a microphone? Deras Paola Valeria. Or Ángel Daniel Recinos. Are you in class, Ángel Recinos? So this is today's topic, adverbs. What is an adverb? So I bet that in your Spanish literature classes in Spanish, like I said, you have studied the concepts of the parts of the speech. Also, you studied parts of the speech in the English class, and it's basically the same thing. An adverb is a word or words that are used to modify other words. So an adverb is a word that modify other words. And what are these words? They are verbs, adjectives, and also adverbs can modify other adverbs. So this is very curious. An adverb can modify another adverb, an adjective, and a verb. The first example we have here is she swims quickly. She swims quickly. The adverb in here is quickly. Most of the adverbs ends in ly. This is not a rule that no teacher, every time that a word doesn't end. If a word doesn't end in ly, it's not an adverb because all of the adverbs ends in ly. 99 times out of 100 is true, or 95 times out of 100 is true. But we have some adverbs that not necessarily get the ly ending. You have to keep that in mind. When I say she swims quickly, that word quickly is telling me more information about the verb. It's describing how she swims. She swims quickly means that she's very fast. Is the way that she swims. In the first example, the adverb is changing or modifying the verb. Then in the second one, she's an extremely quick swimmer. She's an extremely quick swimmer. In that case, the adverb extremely is modifying the word quick. Quick is an adjective this time. And that adverb is modifying the noun swimmer. Quick swimmer, but she's not just a quick swimmer, she's an extremely. So I'm trying to emphasize, I'm intensifying the adjective. And then the last one, an adverb describing or modifying another adverb. She swims extremely quickly. In this case, the word quickly is modified in swims. And extremely is modified in the adverb quickly. So it's not that extremely is described in swims or modified in swims, the word swims. No, that adverb is modified in quickly. How fast she swims? Quickly. How quickly? Extremely. So I don't know if you have any doubts, any questions or comments that you want to express right now. Talk today or be quiet forever. Remain silent forever, which is something that is not very difficult to ask you, isn't it? To remain silent. Questions, comments?
I think it is not, teacher.
Thank you very much. So now that we know that the adverbs are able to modify 3 different types of questions, different parts of the speech, let's move to this. So adverbs attempt to respond these questions. So the adverbs can tell you extra information. One of those is how. One of the questions that an adverb can answer is how. When you are modifying, this happens when you are modifying verbs. So when you're modifying verbs, you wanted to know how the action is happening, how the action takes place. And you have some examples here: slowly, angrily, peacefully, closely, well, and suddenly. So as you plenty see, this adverb in here doesn't L in ly. And we have other examples in different columns where you can see that the adverbs not necessarily end in ly. Well and suddenly. So there you have it. Those adverbs respond question how. Then in the second column, we have adverbs that respond question when. So we might say that there are adverbs of time. Among the examples, because we have more, but I have chosen the most common ones. We have now, then, yesterday, later, soon, and today. Then in the third column, we have adverbs that respond question where. There can be said that they are adverbs of place. Adverbs of place. We have way, far, outside, below, down, and there. And finally, we have intensifiers. So why are they called intensifiers? Because they focus on the intensity, how intense an action or an adjective might be. Quite, very, really, truly, only, and this one is very common, is enough. Enough is enough. Questions, questions, questions. Or I predict that there won't be questions. So how does this work? Very simple. You can see the adverbs in action. You can see them in context with those examples, of course. Sample sentences using adverbs telling how. Let me see who is here in the list. Tatiana Sanchez. I will take advantage that you're talkative today. Can you help me please reading the examples of adverbs telling you how?
Okay, I will help.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, your dog is barking.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm sorry about that. I
don't
have
worry.
no choice.
Don't worry.
I'm reading the examples, right?
Please, please, please.
Okay. A, he swims well. B, he ran quickly. C, she spoke softly. D, James coughed loudly to attract her attention. E, he plays the flute. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Stunning. Exactly.
Stunning.
Stunning. Thank you so much. So you see, in every case, in every sample sentence, the underlying adverb is telling you how. How does he swim? Well. How does he run? Quickly. How does she speak? Softly. Then the way that James cough is loudly. It needs to attract her attention. Then here I have an adverb clause. An adverb clause is loudly to attract her attention, but I'm not going to explain adverb clauses here, just the adverbs. And then in letter E, we have the way that he plays the flute. How does he play the flute is stunningly. Questions so far? Any questions, any doubts? I think that it's easy for you to relate with the Spanish explanation because it's basically the same thing. It's just the same thing, but obviously with the difference that this is in English.
Teacher,
Then tell me.
People in the waiting room.
Oh, wait. Thank you for letting me know. Well, I have a lot of people waiting. Well, the problem is that I did not get the notification. But thank you. So then let's move to, well, we were in how, then now in when. Jodeni, are you online? Are you willing to help me out?
Yes, teacher.
Thank you. You are always willing to help me out.
What I need to read?
From A to E, please.
Okay. A, I will see you tomorrow. B, Harvey forgot his lunch yesterday and again today. C, I have to go now. D, we first met Julie last year. And E, we will be back very soon.
Okay, thanks. When will I see you? Tomorrow. When did Harvey forget his lunch? Yesterday. And today, also we have two here. Yesterday, and he did it today once again. So we have two adverbs. I did not underline the second, but we have two, yesterday and today. When do I have to go? Now. When was the first time that I met Julie? Yesterday, or last year, sorry, last year. When will I be back? Very soon. We have two adverbs here. One is intensifying the second one. Very soon. It's not just soon, it is very soon. So you see, this very is responding question, what extent? And this one in here is responding question, when? Adverbs of place, where? Any volunteer? Valeria Lopez, maybe? Valeria Lopez, are you there? So then anybody?
Teacher, I can help you.
Who is that?
Dariela.
Dariela, but I hardly recognize you when you're not so happy or enthusiastic when you talk, when you laugh. So sorry, because I did not recognize your voice at first. Thank you. This is you again. Okay, please help me out.
To the cake there. After a long day at work, we headed home. Please bring that book here. My grandfather's house is nearby. I live far from the school.
So I think that I have a mistake here. Is the after a long day at work? This is when. Don't pay attention to letter B. Letter B is mistaken. Where did I put the cake? There. Bring me the book. Where? Here. Right here. If I want to be more specific, right here. I'm using two adverbs, but I just use here. Where is my grandfather's house? My grandpa's house is nearby. And where do I live? Or how far I live from school? Far away. Do you have any doubt? I bet you don't. So, and finally, we have some sample sentences telling you what extent. What extent means how intense, the intensity. The intensity can be low or can be high. Sometimes can be normal or not enough. Anybody? Please help me reading the sentences, please.
Me, teacher.
Sergio, thank you.
The first.
All of them.
I most stopped at McDonald's for lunch, but I was running late. Daniel is finally tall enough to ride a roller coaster. I only take a bus to work on Mondays. I was quite lately to see my son progress in the school this year. I'm right there after spending the day at the beach and so hungry that could eat a horse. Eh, it is loud in here, but me concentrate.
Thank you so much, Sergio. So like I said, those adverbs are representing how intense my action is or how intense an adjective is. In this case, I have been modifying verbs and adjectives as well. Let me repeat what I said. The intensity can be low or can be high. Any questions about these adverbs? This is the last slide. Do you have any particulars that you want to comment or ask? Shall we move on? So let's move on then. Okay, then in your books, you have another concept. Very similar to the one that I have provided you in the slides. Because you can find different definitions, but all of them say the same thing in different words. Sergio, can you see, Sergio, my screen, the book page?
Yes, teacher.
Help me with this paragraph, please.
An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another verb, and by making its meaning more specific. Adverbs answer the question how, when, where, or what the extent.
Thank you so much. So as you can see here is just paraphrasing what we've been reading. It's a paraphrased paragraph of what I've been saying as well. Then you have the examples here: adverbs modified in adverb, adverb modified in an adjective, and adverb modified in another adverb. An adverb that is modified in a verb can sometimes be placed in different positions in relation to the verb. Like you see in the example, suddenly can be placed at the beginning, separated with a comma because it's an introductory word, or at the end, you see, or in between. At the end, at the beginning, or in between the noun and the action. Suddenly the machine stopped, the machine stopped suddenly, or the machine suddenly stopped. However, an adverb that modifies an adjective or another adverb must immediately precede the word it modifies. So this change of position of the adverb happens only when the adverb is modified in verbs. When it's modified in adjectives and other adverbs, it has to be immediately before. That's what precede means, before. Very fast, very pretty, so sure, etc., etc., etc. Many adverbs are formed by adding the suffix ly to adjectives. For example, easy, easily, quick, quickly, gentle, gently, careful, carefully, etc. However, many frequently use adverbs do not end in ly, like I told you. Some common adverbs that do not end in ly are almost, already, also, always, fast, here, just, late, more, much, not, never, seldom, still, then, there, today, too, well, tomorrow, yet, and yesterday. And you have more. For sure you have more. Then the intensifiers are the ones that respond question what extent. Some of the common ones are exceptionally, extraordinarily, less, least, more, most, nearly, only, quite, rather, really, so, very, truly, true, and somewhat. The word not and the contraction and apostrophe T are adverbs. You see, the word not is an adverb. Certain adverbs of time, place, and degree are also negative meanings. For instance, barely, didn't, hardly, ever, never, not. So then I want you to take your time, my friends, and go over the first exercise. I think is page 47. On page 47, you have some practice to do. Jareni, help me with the instruction for exercise 1, please.
Okay, identify the adverbs in each of the following sentences. For each adverb, give the verb, adjective, or adverb that it modifies.
Thank you. So once you have identified the adverb, you have to tell me what kind of word, what part of the speech correspond the word that adverb is modifying. For example, I said every hunter that ever lived would end us today. So we have, how many adverbs do we have? I think we have only one. And the adverb is today. Is today. So you underline, circle the adverb, and then tell me what word is modifying. In this case, is the word envy. Envy us today. And the word, what part of the speech is a verb. So the adverb is modifying a verb. So let's have 5 minutes. 5 minutes of practice, then we're gonna check the answers. Work by yourself for 5 minutes. Exercise 1, page 48, I said. No, 47, page 47. I will mute my microphone. If you have any questions, you may ask. Or just worked out. Okay, I gave you enough time. If I ask you for the answers, this is gonna take forever, so I'm gonna try to keep it to you. In letter A, every hunter that, well, I already provided the answer for letter A. Let's move to letter B. The hunters were extremely proud of the expedition. Well, we have the adverb extremely and is modified in the adjective proud. That is the answer. You can underline extremely as the adverb of the sentence, and the word being modified is the adjective proud. In letter C, in the sentence, Eccles was almost entirely confused. We have two adverbs here. Almost is modifying the adverb entirely. So adverb almost modifying entirely. That is another adverb. And the word entirely is modifying the adjective confused. So you can either underline those adverbs or only this one. Entirely and confused, or almost entirely confused. It's up to you. I recommend you the longer way. That way you will understand much better. Almost is modifying entirely, and entirely is modifying confused. That is an adjective. Then in letter D, the adverb is zoom. Zoom, not zoom, zoom. Is modifying the verb or the structure will be living. So will be living is being modified by the adverb zoom. Then in letter E, he moved his hand quite slowly upon the air. So here, quite is the adverb modifying the adverb slowly. And slowly is modifying moved. How did he move his hand? Slowly. How slowly? Quite slowly. Then in letter F, Eccles flushed angrily. Angrily, flushed. Flush is a verb. The adverb is angrily, and the verb or the word being modified is a verb, flushed. Letter G. So the same thing. We have two adverbs here, nearly and one. Nearly is modified in one. And how long did we wait it? An hour. So it's nearly one and one waited. In letter H, a touch of the hand and his burning would on the instant beautifully reverse itself. Kind of hard to understand sentence here. A touch of the hand at this burning would on the instant beautifully reverse itself. So, but we had beautifully modifying the verb reverse. Reverse is a verb being modified or changed or enrich its meaning with the word beautifully or the adverb beautifully. Then letter I, if the election had been yesterday, Keith wouldn't have won. So the adverb here is yesterday. Yesterday is modifying had been. The verb structure had been. And yesterday. J. Eccles very cautiously moved through the prehistoric jungle. Eccles very cautiously moved through the prehistoric jungle. The adverb here is, well, we have two adverbs, as you have noticed. Very is modifying the adverb cautiously, and cautiously is telling me how He moved. So cautiously is modified in this verb, and very is modified in this adverb here. Letter K, 10 million moons fled after. So the adverb is after, and the verb or the word is a verb and is the word fled. Letter L, the fog that had enveloped the machine blew away. Blew away, blew away. So the adverb is away, and the word is the verb blew. Blew, the past tense of blew, blow, blow. The verb is blow, the past tense is blue. Blue like the color is the way that you pronounce it, like the color, blew away. Letter M, it was never quite like this. The verb or the adverb here is quite, modified in like, and never modified in quite. Never modified in quite, and quite verb like. So this is like a change. So the parts of the speech, never modified in quite, and quite modified in the verb like. Then letter N, Travis said we don't belong here. The adverb is here, modified in don't belong. That is adverb. And the last one, there is your personal check. There is the adverb, is indicating the location, and is modifying the verb is. Verb be is. And those are the answers. If you are behind the answers, you can check the video in YouTube, because this video is going to be uploaded in a few minutes. Then let me see if you're still there. Tatiana, are you still there? So you can help
Yes,
me with
teacher.
this. Thank you. Can you please read exercise 2 instructions?
Yes. Complete each sentence by writing an appropriate verb. The word or phrase in parentheses tells you what information the adverb should give you about the verb.
Thank you so much. So now you're gonna use your own adverbs. So you have to pick up your own adverbs. But the only rule, the only thing, the only requirement here is that the adverbs that you picked must answer the questions in parentheses. For example, in letter A, he looked. So you have to choose an adverb that responds the question where. You have to choose an adverb of place. And that will be it. So I will give you 5 more minutes so you can finish this exercise, and then you will share the answers with me. 5 minutes.
Teacher, I don't know if you're talking, but your microphone is turned off.
Okay, all right. Exercise 2 answers are personal. You just gotta make sure to use the most appropriate adverb. And then finally, in exercise number 3, you're supposed to write a 6-sentence paragraph about a very exciting adventure. So it can be real, can be fictional. I hope that you can do it in your notebooks. It's just a 6-sentence paragraph. It's not that long. And you have to describe an exciting adventure that you have experienced firsthand, or that you have heard, or you just make up, because it's not necessarily something real. And then when you have finished your paragraph, underline all of the adverbs that you use in your writing. So I recommend you to keep that in mind before you write it. Include as many adverbs as you can and underline them. And then finally, make sure you include adverbs of place, adverbs of manner, frequency, purpose, and time. And that will be the lesson for today. I don't know if you have any comments, questions, or just say goodbye. See you Friday. Enjoy your day.
Bye,
Thanks,
teacher.
teacher.
Thanks, teacher.
Bye.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks, teacher. Bye.
Bye. You're welcome.
Bye, teacher.
Goodbye.